There is a remake. Yes, really. A fan actually decided to remake it for PC as part of a game jam. And under these circumstances, it's understandable that it doesn't look perfect. But that aside, it's a very faithful adaptation that works extremely well. You literally just install and play it. No need to fiddle around with settings or anything like that. So in terms of actually playing Silent Hill: The Escape, this is about as good as it gets. But how does it compare to the original? Instead of a gyro sensor, you now obviously use the mouse to look around and reload, and it feels good. Just based on that alone, this game already feels better to play than the original. Interestingly, we can reload up to 6 bullets here instead of 5, and the battery pickup was replaced by ammo, so we also get more bullets per level, and on top of that, there seem to be less enemies around, so needless to say, I never ran out of ammo. But if you somehow manage to run out, that's it. No pipe for you. Good luck. But less enemies also means easier levels, and the good control scheme means quicker and more intuitive movement, which in turn makes the game more fun. But at the same time, these things, combined with the much faster movement, make it much shorter than the original. My 3 playthroughs here only took about an hour in total, while in the original my first playthrough took 1.5. The additional modes are the same here, except you don't need to charge your laser gun anymore, making it even easier. And the dog now seems to have less range but a bit more damage. And you can attract enemies with your barks now, that way you can kill them while they still try to get to you, because your range is higher than theirs. Also, as the dog you can actually walk backwards. I don't know why, but if you press back in normal or alien mode, you just turn around in this game. And the ending is also different in dog mode. This game, in contrary to the original, doesn't have a tutorial, so these things which only showed up in the tutorial and the last ending aren't a thing here. Instead you get the bunny ending. And apparently this version has 4 endings? But I have no idea how to trigger the last one. I don't even know if the original has 4 endings too. I tried replaying the whole dog mode, because the remake for some reason doesn't have a level selection, only a continue button, and got the same rabbit ending again. So after a total of 7 Silent Hill: The Escape playthroughs, I was starting to get tired of it and gave up on looking for the last ending. Except hi, Jen from the future here. While trying to record gameplay, I kept running into these weird things, so I decided to do another full playthrough where I pick all of them up. Except sometimes ones I'd seen before wouldn't spawn and I didn't know what affected that, and without a level selection it's kind of a pain to reach, say, level 5 just to see if that thing is still there. Also, it didn't appear in some levels at all, and I don't know if it's by design or if I did something wrong. I even went as far as to draw out the maps just to make sure I really covered every path, but this, including my gameplay recording, was now effectively my 9th playthrough of The Escape, and by far the longest one of the remake. So, needless to say, I was kinda sick of the game by now and gave up on the search. Maybe I'll pick it back up at some point and make a follow-up short or something. It is a fun game after all. But for the time being, if anyone knows more, please let me know. I'd love to see that ending. Enemies are the same as in the original, except, as I said, these weird bubbles aren't a thing anymore, and Pyramid Head was replaced by a giant monkey? That felt so out of place. Like, if you're gonna replace the most iconic Silent Hill enemy, at least choose something scary. This was just weird. And they made it harder to beat too. Pyramid Head will always get stunned when you attacked him, which is honestly a bit out of character, but the monkey doesn't care. It's a force of nature that will get to you if you slow down while in range. Interesting choice and definitely made my dog playthrough a bit more intense. In terms of sound design, it's about the same except the radio is gone, so you have no way of knowing how close enemies are. And the danger sign on top also doesn't help, because its range is much higher than in the original. But in a way that kinda increased the horror, because enemies could be anywhere, you only know that they are somewhere close by. In the original, most of the time it was pretty clear where they are. Not sure which system I prefer, but they both feel scary in their own ways. Level design was also changed up. The maps aren't the same as in the original, but they do take inspiration and have some distinct features that resemble the original maps, which I found super interesting. Or I'm tripping and didn't realize that they are actually the same. With one exception. This game, in contrary to the original, doesn't have a dedicated tutorial, so the first level kind of acts as one instead and is very linear. But speaking of the levels, as you have seen by now, the environments don't look great. There is no variation, everything looks the same, and I don't agree with every level's design choices. And it's interesting how the barebones minimap kinda contributes to this unfinished look despite being very faithful to the original. But beyond mentioning them here, I don't actually want to bash the game's graphics too much. Again, it was developed for a game jam, and the developers even said that they still want to work on it to improve the look and add more polish. I'm just here to say both things would be nice, because I did also encounter a few small bugs here and there. The most consistent one is that pausing the game right as you get out of the elevator doesn't actually pause it. Nothing game breaking, but it's also not perfect is what I'm trying to say. Same for the fact that you can't shoot through fences anymore. You don't get many chances to, but you can do it in the original. Or the animations, they feel less detailed and less creepy overall. And the wheelchairs as enemies don't work nearly as well here as they did in the original. But of course, in the grand scheme of things, these are just nitpicks. I had a lot of fun playing this game overall, and I'm super glad that it exists at all. It's a nice and really well made little time waster. While the original is creepier, this one is actually fun to play once you get used to the tank controls, and works on modern systems without any issues. The environments are barren, Pyramid Head was replaced by a monkey, the overall game is less creepy, but I found it pretty easy to look past these things. I had fun playing this remake, and I would honestly replay it at some point, maybe even on stream. Follow me on Twitch, by the way. Of all the games so far, this is, interestingly, my favorite one, so make of that what you will. I'll definitely link it in the description.